Welcome to the Cryptonomatron. Today I'm doing a revisit of the BigBom ECO review that I did a few days ago. And the reason I'm doing this is the team contacted me and they tried to address a few of my concerns that I had in the review video. And I only thought it's fair to give them another go since they bothered to actually contact me. A lot of ICOs or projects don't even bother if I give them a negative or even a neutral review. And my review wasn't too bad on BigBom. I was quite apprehensive of the project. I was quite enthusiastic. I liked the project as a whole. Just a few things that caused the score to come down a little bit. So they've addressed or tried to allay some of my fears and concerns. So I thought, why not? They've bothered to contact me. Let's give it another visit. Let's look at it in a little bit more detail, given the new information we have at hand. So here it is, the BigBom ECO review version 2. Now, the reason I liked BigBom and I reviewed it in the first place was because it's the first ICO that's been launched on the Tomo chain, Ethereum scaling solution platform. So it is a DApp that's built on top of the Tomo chain platform, which solves some of the scalability issues that Ethereum has got. So it's very interesting, and that's why it came to my attention first of all. So let's get down to it, starting with the competition. So looking at the competition, the first one that's mentioned is AdX. It's a blockchain-based ad network that puts advertisers in touch with their audience, and they utilize the blockchain for that. So it's built on Ethereum. It's decentralized. They have a large network of international publishers, and they have no commission and fees as well, and that's the attraction of it. Now, the difference between AdX and, for example, BigBom is that BigBom offers APIs to interact with existing advertising platforms like Facebook, Google, etc. And that's the difference. So they're not just getting rid of the middleman, they're actually allowing you to connect with other platforms. And if we look at AdX, since I did the last review, it's dropped quite significantly in value. It's now just at about 8,500 Satoshi, just under 60 cents in US dollar terms. Circulating supply is 73 million. Total supply is 100 million, and the market capitalization has lost 10 million since I did the last review. It's now down at 43.6 million. So this is actually, it's not done too badly since its launch at ICO, although it hasn't really fulfilled any promise. But it's been a victim of the recent bear market. It is available on a few of the bigger exchanges as well, including Binance. You can see there HitBTC and Bitrex. So it's available on some of the bigger exchanges, which may inhibit its growth in the future, because a lot of tokens, a lot of these projects tend to gain value when they go on to the larger exchanges because they become more liquid. So historically, it's all-time high. Let's have a quick look. Let's have a little look here. So yeah, we were well over $1 at one point, over $2 indeed. At one point over $3 there, so almost at $4 was the all-time high, and that's quite impressive. So it has shrunk back down a little bit. Again, just a victim of the current bearish sentiment in the market, I believe. The other competitor specifically mentioned by BigBom in their media is Indahash. Now, Indahash is a app that connects over 300,000 influencers from 70 markets with global brands and introducing a tokenized ecosystem as such. Now, the one thing that's pointed out in the media from BigBom is that they believe that Indahash is not truly decentralized as they believe BigBom is. So that is one of the major differences there. And they're also targeting more, influencers, bloggers, rather than real advertisers. So there's another little difference there. And again, I mentioned the logo looks like two aubergines having sex. It's lost a little bit of value, really hasn't fulfilled any sort of promise since its ICO, I don't think. Currently sitting at just over 650 Satoshis there, at just 4.5 cents in US dollar terms. Market capitalization for this project, very low at $18 million. Circulating supply, a whisker under the total supply of 400 million. So that's Indahash. maybe one to keep an eye on for the future to see what happens with it. But that's the two competitors that they've mentioned specifically in the BigBom ECO media. So the third and final competitor I want to mention is AdHive. They are an AI-controlled influencer marketing platform, and basically putting influencers in touch with advertisers to market products on the blockchain. Quite simple. Now, the competitive advantage that BigBom ECO claim they have is that they've got their own marketplace, like the other competitors have, but they can also integrate with existing services like Google, like Facebook, and that's what they believe is their competitive advantage over the existing platforms. So the problems they want to solve, the first one is a lack of trust between advertising buyers, the advertisers themselves, and the sellers, who are the ad platform publishers. And the reason for this is obviously, will you actually deliver what you're going to say you're going to deliver? And the way that BigBom get around this is by using key performance indicators to ensure that the contracts and the objectives of the campaign are fulfilled before anybody gets any payment. The second thing is a lack of support for decentralized apps through traditional marketplace solutions. Now, no other advertising platform has a support for these decentralized apps, so BigBom are going to be the first. The third thing is manual management of ads is time consuming and often ineffective as well. If you've ever done any Google AdWords or something similar, Facebook ads or whatever for your business, you know that managing them is a real pain in the arse, and it's time consuming and often ineffective if you don't know what you're doing. Now, we're not all advertising professionals here, which is where the BigBom platform helps us to do things that we possibly are not very good at. And number four, quite an important one as well, is suboptimal advertising budgeting. Now, we spend more money than we should, or we spend less money than we should, and we're not targeting the right kind of people. We're not, we're spending money on ineffective campaigns, and that's suboptimal advertising. And I'm sure anybody that's used AdWords, unless you're an expert at it, then you've been a victim of this suboptimal budgeting and wasting money in many cases for your advertising campaigns. So BigBom want to build a decentralized ecosystem for advertising on the blockchain. Now, they've already had quite a prestigious list of clientele, including Baskin-Robbins, Lazada, Jockey, VNG as well. So they've already been involved in advertising for some time, and they recognize the benefits that the blockchain can bring to the online advertising space. So the ecosystem will be available for anybody that is involved in online advertising. That includes advertisers, influencers, content publishers such as myself, advertising channels, everybody really. It's developed using smart contracts that are running on the Ethereum blockchain, and also, interestingly, Tomo chain as well. And that's what initially piqued my interest about this project. It was the first, or is the first, ICO that's running on the Tomo chain platform. Now, Tomo chain, as I mentioned very briefly before, is a scaling solution for the Ethereum blockchain. And it's recently come off a successful ICO and is still a bit of a bargain, I think, at the moment. Hasn't really fulfilled promise. Again, mostly due to the bear market that we've been experiencing in the last few weeks. So BigBom have this memorandum of understanding with Tomo chain, and they're going to receive some advisory and technical support from the Tomo chain team as well. So Tomo chain, by utilizing Tomo chain, it reduces the fees to an almost negligible amount, and also improves the transaction speed and the stability as well. So if they were just using the Ethereum main chain, obviously, they'd be subject to higher gas fees, and also the instability that comes with that. So Tomo chain are a scaling solution, and it'll be interesting to see how this project, this DApp, gets implemented on this brand new platform. So the new white paper is a lot better than the old one. A few of the spelling mistakes have been fixed. They've reworded a few of the paragraphs, and the layout is a lot better. So I commend them for doing that. Again, all projects should aim for constant improvement. That's the main thing about business. If you're constantly looking to improve, then you can increase your chances of success rather than stagnating. And of course, this team, have to commend them again. They have listened to my review, and they listened to several criticisms that I had, and one of them was about the quality of the material, the fact that it wasn't maybe as good as it could have been, especially in terms of proofreading and spelling mistakes and that type of thing. And I'm glad to see they've already addressed that. So it shows that they're paying attention, and it shows an attention to detail that other projects normally ignore or aren't really concerned about. But the reason I'm mentioning the new white paper is they have changed their vision and purpose slightly, and what they want to do, obviously, aside from building this first digital advertising ecosystem on a decentralized application platform, is they aim to free up human resources in online marketing, therefore optimizing costs and increasing the effect of advertising campaigns through the development of what they call BigBom iAds, which is an advertising automation utility that enables self-learning and optimizing ads, bidding on many popular platforms. As I mentioned before, you'll be able to use it to connect to Facebook ads and Google AdWords, etc., etc. And their main aim here is in the next 5 years, they want to become an ecosystem with significant influence on the global online advertising industry. So we'll use the new white paper to look at the market, and they've done their market research, which again I think is very important for new businesses, especially startups. And they need to tell us as potential investors or contributors to ICOs in particular where they see themselves in the market, how much the market's worth, and what sort of revenue they expect to get by tackling this market. And they've done a market research, obviously. They say 50 million new businesses are established around the world, and this is increasing in competition. You need to advertise, obviously, to get your brand name known, so your demand for marketing increases quite dramatically as a result. And the only way you're going to get known is by employing an advertising company to get your brand name out there. And in 2017, online advertising accounted for a whopping 41% of global advertising expenditure. So online advertising is probably the biggest market now out of all of the different advertising channels. Worldwide advertising expenditure for digital channels represents a $209 billion market. So that's quite phenomenal. Traditional advertising channels such as television are of a smaller amount, and I believe that disparity will increase over time as well as TV ads get less popular and digital advertising completely takes over. TV ads are currently sitting around 178 billion US dollars, still a significant amount, 35% of the market, but you can see TV ads shrinking and digital online advertising growing exponentially. So Magna, who've done the research here, they project the expenditure of digital advertising is going to grow 13% to reach a whopping 237 billion US dollars in 2018 and an incredible 300 billion by 2020. And I can't see those figures being wrong, as everything is tending to move onto mobile devices and online advertising. So the last statistic I want to bring to your attention is Google and Facebook. Now, they're the leading providers of online advertising, and their revenues are very significant indeed. 95.38 billion US dollars from Google and 33.84 billion US dollars from Facebook in 2017. So you can just see the amount of money we're talking about here is quite phenomenal indeed. So it'd be very interesting to see how the blockchain disrupts this very ripe industry. So they are using the Ethereum blockchain, as we said. They are also using Tomo chain, which will make it much quicker. And the first benefit that this ecosystem is going to provide is easy engagement and cost effective for the advertisers. So you'll essentially only be paying fees for the implementation of a smart contract. It will be easy to choose your partner. There will be a recommendation engine in the ecosystem that you can use.
It will be fast, reliable and secure. Ethereum at the moment, the transactions are between 15 and 30 seconds on average, but it can take a lot longer, as you're probably aware, if the network gets clogged. Tombo chain transactions take only about 2 seconds, and it's something like 215,000 times quicker than a wire transfer, just to give you an idea of how fast it really is. It will be easy to engage with any potential business. Everything will be under one piece of software, so one click you'll be able to go onto your dashboard, view all your campaigns, view all the platforms you're involved in, all under the same dashboard. You'll be able to reach your goals with minimized cost, and it's crypto ready as well, which means you can pay in credit card. You will purchase the BigBom tokens at about 5% over market rate if you're using fiat payments, and then that's how you can pay for the services on the platform. So the main smart contracts involved, there are 4 of them. The first one is the service offer contract. So if you're a buyer, you'll lay down your requirements, what you expect from the seller, and then there's also a service bidding contract, which will be provided by the seller, stipulating what they can achieve and what they can offer. Then there'll be a payment contract as well, sort of like an escrow, so that people will get paid when they have fulfilled their obligations. Then finally, there will be a review rating contract where the buyer and seller will be rated, just so that people in future know who they're dealing with.
So the beta is now available. You can log in and utilize it. You can link your Facebook account. I don't seem to be able to do so. I think I'm having some issues with authorization settings. So unfortunately, you can't link at the moment, but you can see here you can view your campaign list. It's all in Vietnamese, but you can translate it using Chrome quite easily, so it's understandable. And you can see here you can manage your campaigns on that page. You can also create a campaign quite easily by clicking here. And you obviously have to have your Facebook set up so that you can actually do it. It won't allow me to do it for some reason, maybe because my billing's overdue perhaps, I'm not sure. But anyway, this is quite a nice interface, quite an easy to use interface. You can name your campaign here, then select the account you have linked, and select a goal as well and see it functioning. And then you can select, once you've done that, you can select your groups and audiences and eventually create your ad. So that's just a very, very brief look at the beta version, which is available on the website. And I'll leave login information for the beta in the description below.
So the clever part of it is this BigBom iAds, which they've developed to basically run the whole ecosystem. It's like an application. It is a microservice architecture and Docker. It runs ad campaign synchronization systems using an asynchronous batch processing system based on Node, JavaScript, and Redis. It has a NoSQL database with low latency and high scalability. It's connected obviously to the blockchain, as we mentioned before, for secure transactions. And it also has a self-developed algorithm to continuously update the results of advertising campaigns for optimizing the bidding prices. So the BigBom iAds is essentially the app behind the sort of magic, the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, if you like, that makes it all automated and it sets the prices, and basically it processes all the information and then writes it to the blockchain. So the token is an ERC20 standard Ethereum token. It will be used for all transactions on the BigBom ecosystem, and they'll basically be used to buy services, get paid in BBO tokens for supplying your services, and you can also purchase tokens on external exchanges after the ICO is complete. You'll also be able to buy them with fiat using credit card for a 5% premium. So the other use for the token is a reward after you evaluate the buyer or the seller. So, once you've completed your contract, there is the smart contract review rating contract, and you will receive a bonus of BBO tokens as a reward for participating. It's not really the greatest incentivizing force in an ecosystem I've seen. There really isn't any incentivization to use this platform over and above the fact it might be a little bit easier to use than others, and that is a very, very weak point, an Achilles heel, if you like, with this project.
So I'm happy to report there are no red flags on this project, no scam warnings at all. This is a legitimate project. They are based in Vietnam, but they have a registered Singaporean company for the ICO, and they're also registered in, I think it's the British Virgin Islands, if I'm not wrong, somewhere else as well. But anyway, the project is legit. There's no red flags around it. Yeah, that's good. Thumbs up. So ICO details now. The hard cap is set at 12,000 Ether. They have already reached the soft cap during the pre-sale or the private sales. The pre-sale, pre-ICO, if you like, was conducted between the 28th of March and the 31st of March, and it raised 1,000 Ether. So they've got enough money to continue with the project. The total supply is a rather high 2 billion BBO tokens, and the total for sale during the ICO will be 300 million BBO tokens, which is about 15%, I believe, of the total. The token sale price will equal 1 Ethereum to 20,000 BBO. You will require KYC. It is an ERC20 Ethereum token as well, so if you have MetaMask or MyEther wallet, you can store it in there. And unfortunately, because of the KYC restrictions, countries that aren't allowed to participate normally, like USA, China, New Zealand, etc., will not be allowed to participate in this particular sale. So we can see here the token allocation, token distribution. There is 16.25% put aside for the token sale. In total, 9% for advisor and bounty, 13% for core founders and staff, 31.75% for held in reserve, and 30% taken for network growth. As you can see here, there is a vesting period for all the other tokens. The founder and core staff tokens are going to be locked away for at least 24 months. Advisors will have their tokens locked for 12 months. Airdrop and bounty for a couple of months. Network growth for 12 months. And reserve will be held for 12 months as well. So the circulating supply will not be overwhelming when this goes on exchanges. And any unsold tokens will be burned after the sale as well. So you can see there the breakdown. Public sale is getting 275 million tokens. Private sale got 25 million. And the pre-ICO also got 25 million as well. And if they weren't sold, they will be burned. So another thing I want to point out here is they have actually done quite a lot of research on how they're going to spend the money. And you can see here, if they have raised 50 million US dollars, they are going to spend the money accordingly. And I won't go into it or break it down, but it shows that they've done a lot of business planning. The other thing I wanted to mention as well is they have revenue forecasts. A risk assessment, risk analysis has been done as well. So quite a lot of thought has been put into this project in terms of business planning, which I like to see. So as far as the bounty campaign is concerned, they did have an airdrop campaign running. I believe it's finished now. And you accumulated points by signing up to Telegram, Twitter, Facebook, and performing tasks like sharing posts, etc. It has been stopped. There is a leaderboard, so prizes for the top 10, I believe. There is, however, a referral campaign. You can earn 3% bonus tokens by using your referral link. I'm not too big a fan of these referral campaigns. I believe it leads to spamming and maybe a little bit of dilution of the quality of a project, but they've taken my complaints about that into consideration as well. The airdrop campaign is now over. As far as the bounty campaign is concerned, there are a bounty campaign running at the moment. It's not that generous. Again, I have to be uber critical here, and I think that they could be a little bit more generous in terms of especially content creation, stuff like that. So it's there. It's on Bitcointalk.org, and I will link to it below in the description if you want to participate. It's still running. It will end on 15th of May, so still plenty of time to participate. The bounty campaigns include Facebook, Twitter, Telegram, and Bitcointalk signature and avatar campaign, as well as a YouTube campaign, Medium, and other blog posts and related news articles as well. So the roadmap was one of my biggest criticisms of the original review, and they haven't actually updated it. They have informed me, however, they are going to update the roadmap and give it a more precise and detailed approach, which is good. Shows again that they're listening to criticism. There is a little bit about market expansion, and they have done a business plan as well, so I can't fault them for that. And there's the roadmap, as you can see, and you can probably work out why I was critical of it. There's not much information on what they're actually going to do, when it's going to be implemented, or what's going to happen. It's rather more of a hopeful type affair that says that they're going to be able to attract X amount of people or advertisers onto the platform by a certain date. And that's not really what I like to see. When I like to look at a roadmap, I want to see a detailed vision and progression technologically, also maybe even mentioning how they're going to achieve the different aims. So they have already, as I said, they've already recognized my criticisms, and hopefully they'll improve the roadmap in due course. So let's take a look at the team now, and as I mentioned before, the team are based in Vietnam, and they are a bit localized for my liking. The reason I say that is I like to see projects with a lot of international input. It doesn't matter that your developers are all based in one place. That's not a concern whatsoever. Most projects will actually have an office that is quite local, but I like to see more international input. That's one criticism. It's a minor one that I do have about the team here. As far as implementation is concerned, and I have no qualms over this team being able to implement. They've already been involved with advertising for major companies like Lazada, VNG, Baskin-Robbins, etc. So there's no question in my mind that this team can implement. Vung Nguyen is the CEO and co-founder, and notice I pronounced that almost correctly. My Vietnamese is very, very poor. I have to apologize. And I was actually told how to pronounce well, I thought it was pronounced Nguyen. It's actually pronounced Win. So Vung Nguyen, I believe, is the correct pronunciation. So thanks to the YouTuber that corrected me on my very bad Vietnamese pronunciation, and it solved one of life's great mysteries in how that was pronounced. I've never known how to say that properly, even living in Southeast Asia for almost 20 years. So there you go. So thanks very much. Anyway, Vung is the CEO and founder. He's got experience in I think we can click on him. There we are. In digital advertising. He's the founder of a company called AdTop, which is an online advertising company. It's been running for 7 or 8 years now. So he's quite experienced in that. He's also graduated from the Silicon Valley Founder Institute, which is a startup training program involving people from over 50 countries. So very interesting. Tuan Cole, he's an experienced engineer. He's been involved with large enterprises such as VNG and Lazada before, designed and developed many scalable high-performance systems which serve millions of users. He's a blockchain enthusiast, aren't we all, and an active investor. We'll take a look at another couple. I do not even want to pronounce this. Anne, I believe, is her name. She is the CMO and co-founder as well. She's worked for AdTop, the CEO's company, Vietnam Works, and Win Kim, I think that's pronounced. She's currently in charge of all BigBom's marketing, including building and expanding BigBom's community of potential stakeholders around the world. And we'll have a look at Mr. Hung. He has experience in technology and systems development as well. So the team's got quite a reasonable amount of experience. Not the strongest team I've ever reviewed. Again, I feel it's just a little bit too localized, but they have a couple of international guys on the advisory body there. Let's have a look. David Carnell, managing partner at Clean Energy Capital, Pty Limited, and he's a panelist and advisor on ICO fund management at Blockchain Intelligence Group. So he'll be an interesting addition to the advisory body. Let's have a look at Niels. He's a cryptocurrency advisor, assists several ICOs with marketing, got a master's in strategic management from Erasmus in Rotterdam, and yeah, he's worked with clients like General Electric, Adidas, Shell, and Heineken. That's pretty impressive. So yeah, overall, it's a competent team. It's not the most all-star team that I've seen, but certainly definitely competent. And of course we have Min here, who is the co-founder at Tomo Chain, and they've already successfully launched an ICO. So yeah, overall I think it's above average, I would say, and again, no questions about whether they can implement. I'm sure they can. So the partners here, they tick all the boxes for me. They've got Tomo Chain, obviously, backing them with technology and some advice coming from them as well, having launched a successful project already. Bancor, Chain Fund, ICO holder, Regulus, they've got legal support as well. They've also got Haravan, who I believe are a client already, Synopsys Solutions, Blockchain Intelligence Group, and Zalo Business. So the partners are very helpful to the success of this project. I think that especially having Tomo Chain on board and having the legal representation taken care of as well is going to be very important for this project going forward. So yeah, another thumbs up for partners. So I mentioned before my surprise when I found out the amount of community support this project has. Again, this is another strength on this project. This has a lot of hype behind it, and there's a lot of community support. You can see here they've almost got 40,000 members on their Telegram now, which is very impressive, especially this is the global group. It's not one of the Chinese language, Vietnamese language groups. So very, very impressive. And I was surprised when I first looked at this project, just how big a community following they have. They're active on all the normal social media channels as well. They keep everything updated quite adequately and quite regularly as well. As you can see here, the last major update on Twitter was on April the 5th, just a couple of days ago. They have 13,100 followers on Twitter as well. Again, very, very impressive. And the other thing I have to mention here is when I did do the previous ICO review, they've looked at it. They've come back with their comments as well, which a lot of companies won't bother doing. Now, the reason I agreed to do another review, this review, if you like, and make some changes and make some amendments, it's not only because I'm now furnished with more knowledge about the project that I didn't have in the first review, but the fact that they actually bothered to send me an email and come back to me with corrections or some more information shows that they're very, very community active, shows that they're actually bothered. They've bothered to watch the video, they've bothered to analyze it, and they came back to me asking me whether I would look at it again, and I'm quite happy to, because again, we're a community here and we're all in the same boat trying to invest and make money. As in ICOs, they're trying to raise money and we're investing. We look to the value of our tokens that we get as well to maybe make some more value. So I was quite happy to redo this review for them, given that they'd made the effort to come back and contact me and supply me with all this new information. So it's verdict time again, and let's look at the positives that I see in this ICO. Now, the first one is they have a working beta version. We weren't sure about it before, but it is working, and you can actually conduct your own Facebook campaign using it. So yeah, definite positive having something working. Number two, the other thing I liked about this ICO was the very low token price. Yet there is a high total supply, but a lot of that is getting kept in reserve and it won't be circulating at the time of this hitting exchanges. It will actually have quite a low circulating supply. And combined with the low token price, it's going to give it a low hard cap. We know already they're only trying to raise what they need, 12,000 Ethereum. So it should go in the exchanges, I would think, with a market capitalization of around 5, 6, maybe up to $7 million, which is very low for a project of this nature. And again, it gives us an opportunity to make money as well. I think the partnerships will definitely benefit the project, not least of all their partnership with Tomo Chain. And number 6, they have an existing ad business and revenue coming in already with a few big clients there as well. And number 7, as a result of that, the team have advertising experience. I think that's going to be critical to the success of this project going forward. Number 8, another thing that interested me was they have code on GitHub. It gives them more legitimacy as well. And number 9, goes without saying, because this is the first decentralized app on the Tomo Chain platform, it's going to be very interesting to see how it performs. And it's also going to gather a lot of interest in the community as well. Number 10, the execution is yet to be seen, but the planning is very, very good. They have done their market research, they've done a business plan, they've done a risk analysis. Yeah, you can't fault them on the planning. Number 11, I've upgraded this. Excellent community support behind this project now. The fact that they actually got back to me and addressed concerns I had in the previous review shows that they're paying attention to the community, and you know that is a big positive in my opinion, because community support is essential to any project that's succeeding. So if you're engaging with your community, then you're doing the right thing. And number 13, I've added this as well as a positive. They may have the competitive advantage due to their IADS platform being able to run on external platforms such as Google, Facebook, etc. So overall, I think this project's got quite a lot of potential over the competition. Now, negatives, I've reduced them slightly. I believe that the material isn't professional enough. Again, they are busy addressing this concern though, so you know, we can allay fears about this. They understand that they need to do a little bit better in terms of presentation and material. They've already updated the white paper, and this is an ongoing process, they assure me. Number 2, I'm still convinced that the team is just a little bit too localized. Most ICOs have their developers in one place. This is no exception, but I just feel perhaps it's just a little bit still too localized for my liking. Number 3, I discussed it before, the roadmap is pretty vague and it's pretty useless, let's be honest, but they are going to update this as this review goes out. They are going to address this concern of mine, so yeah, thanks for addressing it, guys. Number 4, another negative is the bounty campaign. It simply doesn't reward quality content enough. The rewards are pretty low. It doesn't, enthuse influencers or content producers to actually get on board. So they want to address that. They have already addressed, to their credit, the airdrop campaign and the fact that the affiliate linking was one of the other negatives that I had, and that's been stopped so far. So I can't really mark it down as a negative now in this review. And another thing is incentivization to use this platform is still a concern for me. And they did get back and address this, and they did say that the reason people will use this platform is because it's simply going to be better than the competition. But again, I'm still worried that there's not an incentivization, there's not enough rewards for users to get on board here. So I'm still a little bit concerned about that. So let's look at the potential gains, and they haven't changed since my last critique of the project. In an ultra bearish market, yeah, this might go down when it hits the exchanges, such as the nature of the beast at the moment. However, in a bearish market, it still could do a 2x here because the token price is so low and the market cap will be low as well. In a bullish market, things start to look a lot better. Yeah, this could easily 5x. And in a perma-bullish market, if we see an extended bull run on cryptocurrency, then yeah, easily 15x this project could do from its initial market capitalization. So for flipping, certainly if it sells out, this could be quite good for flipping. I think the token price is low. If demand is certainly what it was at the pre-ICO stage, then yeah, this could be a potential for flipping. Could at least do a 2x, as I believe. And for hodling, holding on for dear life, yeah, definitely. Longer term, this project has certainly got a lot of potential. So I think for flipping, fairly positive. For hodling, yeah, definitely. So to update the final verdict now, I have upgraded this to a more bullish 4 stars. So 4 out of 5, it's addressed my concerns, and they've also got a working beta as well. So yeah, it has to be on a more bullish sentiment now. You know, for me, having the beta and having the concerns that I initially had addressed is definitely a more positive outlook for this project. So there we are. So by addressing my concerns, by giving me a little bit more information about the project, I'm definitely upgrading this to a 4-star project. And is it something I want to invest in? Certainly, I'll be looking at this a lot more closely during the ICO. I'm tempted by the low token price. I'm tempted by the low hard cap here. Yeah, it's certainly something I'm definitely going to be looking at with more interest now that they have the working beta out there. As ever, I have to say my disclaimer, and this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is purely for entertainment purposes. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, please subscribe to the channel. Let's get the community growing now, and let me know what ICOs you want me to review, what projects you want me to review in the comments below. And if you've got any questions about this project, put them in the comments below. I'm sure the project team will be looking at this review, since they did contact me about the previous one. They're engaged with the community. Again, I think that's fantastic, and another reason why I've upped my bullish stance on it. If you are going to invest in any projects or any ICOs, please bear in mind they do pose inherent risks. Don't listen to YouTubers, guys. You know, we're not financial advisors. We're not experts. Even though some of us claim to be, I certainly don't. I do these reviews. I hope that you find them interesting and helpful. But I am in no way claiming I'm some sort of self-professed expert or guru, as some of these guys do. I mean, well, whatever. But if you're going to invest, do your own due diligence, guys. Do your own research. Do your, do your homework before investing in anything. And if you are going to invest, never invest more than you can afford to lose. Always invest with caution. Always invest wisely. And yeah, get as much information as you can on everything. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow with another ICO review with a nautical theme this time. Something very interesting that I don't think has been done before for an ICO, but has potential perhaps. Who knows? Let's look at it tomorrow. I'll see you then.